Glad to have your company tonight and coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Martina Avera. Now, before we begin our bulletin tonight, we would like to inform you that in pursuance to the Constitution of the Republic of Rwanda of 2003, revised in 2015, especially in Articles 116 and 112, today, March 2nd, 2023, His Excellency, the President, has made the following appointments. Dr. Ildefonse Musafiri, the Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources. Dr. Telesphore Ndabamenye, who is the Director General of Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board, also known as RAB. Ms. Clarisse Umutoni, the Chief Financial Officer at Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board. This was signed on the 2nd of March, 2023 in Kigali on behalf of His Excellency, the President of Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. Now, let us begin our bulletin by informing you that the Prime Minister, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, showcased for local and international investors different investment opportunities in Rwanda, as well as the government's will to deduct the cost of investment through tax exemption and loan grants at lower rates for building an economic stability. Prince Manzi has the report.
The benefits in investing in Rwanda include import duty exemption on industrial and construction materials through the Manufacture and Build to Recover program, and loan grants at a lower rate. The Chief Executive Officer of the Development Bank of Rwanda, Kameta Sayinzoga, demonstrated for these investors that Rwanda established the Economic Recovery Fund to support investors in recovering from the economic instabilities resulted from COVID-19, and this fund partners with 8 financial institutions, and investors are able to get a loan on an 8% rate.
But the most important, I would say, gaps that we're trying to address are: 1, affordability of access to loans for investors; 2, the tenor of the loans, because if you're going to do manufacturing, often you need loans that have a longer tenor than 5 years. And Hatana actually allows you to have loans of a tenor of up to 15 years. Many of the loans don't have a grace period, but with Hatana you can have a grace period of up to 3 years. So it really gives time to the manufacturers and the investors to bring in, to do the needful before they start making money and feeling the turnover kicking in.
Different investors are interested in investing in Rwanda, as the first row of the Manufacture and Build to Recover program helped their investments to not be destabilized by the COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war.
For us, we also think the safety, especially for the Kigali. In the other countries, especially in Africa. Now, most of the people, especially for our colleagues, they dare not to go outside during the night. Now, we have the regulations, don't go to outside, especially in night, because it is not very safety. So, but in Rwanda, there is no problem.
We also had the exemption from RDB, which helped us so much in covering the losses we was going to have during the construction. The biggest problem we had was the transport. It had come up to 40%, and with the exemption we had, we could cover the loss we had in the transport. So, and this helped us also to reduce the price on the market. So the project is more affordable now.
Different challenges were presented, including the deducted working hours and the collected value-added taxes on some materials by different sellers that is not returned by the Rwanda Revenue Authority. The Chief Executive Officer of the Rwanda Development Board states that these challenges are going to be addressed.
Ideas for improvement. Mr. Prime Minister, with your permission, I'd like to take all those issues that have been raised on working hours, on VAT claims, including services, and all the other ideas that some of you have not had a chance to share with us. We want to put that all together. What I promise you that we will take that back to government through the Prime Minister, discuss them and give you feedback on all of them.
The first row of this program started in December 2020 to December 2022, and 106 companies were established with an investment worth $1.8 billion and employed 36,000 people. As Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente officiated the inauguration of the second round of the Manufacture and Build to Recover program, urged local and international investors to benefit from such chances given by the government.
I would like to thank all the members of the private sector who have actively participated in this program to expand their businesses or start new ones. It is because of you that this success has been achieved. I also take this opportunity to encourage those who have not taken advantage of this program to do so while it is still available. The incentives offered under this program are very unique and extensive and will contribute towards scaling your investment projects.
In the 100 projects demonstrated for these local and national investors on Thursday, some of them are worth 150 billion and 9 in the manufacturing, agro-processing and construction sectors. There are different economic zones established in 6 districts, namely Musanze, Rubavu, Rusizi, Muhanga, Nyagatare and Huye, that have the capacity to acquire at least 40 investment societies. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince Manzi, for that report. Now, the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement perceives that it is high time that the history of the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda is taught in all schools because many of the obstacles that prevented it from being properly covered or taught in schools no longer exist. Jessica Agasaro has the report.
Prepares the trip that the members of the Commission on Foreign Affairs, Cooperation and Security in the Senate of Rwanda will make around the country to see how the history of the genocide is taught in school. Some of the senators pointed out some of the obstacles that made this history not continue to be taught in all schools, especially in the primary school level.
In 1998, teachers in the history department, they invited experts from Rwanda and beyond and spent a whole week discussing the issue and decided to stop teaching the history of Rwanda in schools for a while because they could not agree. One of the examples I can give about what they didn't agree on was the revolution of 1959. Some were saying it was a revolution while others said it wasn't. Those who called it a revolution said it was because the majority removed the monarchy and established the republic. And the others disagreed, saying that it is not the way a revolution is carried out because even though it involves change in leadership, it cannot involve divisionism among the people of the country.
The Minister of the National Unit and Civic Engagement, Dr. Bizimana Jean Damascene, reiterates that with the cooperation of the Ministry and other institutions, including the Ministry of Education, the history of Rwanda, including the genocide against the Tutsi, will be taught in primary school from year 1 to year 6.
Let's start with the first 3 years in primary school. As I said, in the first year of primary, students are taught about the history of the family unit. I mean the father, mother and siblings. In such cases, teachers need to compare what they are being told by the students with reality and do follow up to be able to reconcile any differences by speaking to the parents or guardians of the child. Teachers will need to be flexible when doing this and be willing to discuss things frankly, maybe even helping not just the students, but their parents and guardians as well in the process. In the second year of primary school, the scope will widen to include the broader family and immediate relatives. Such studies may include returnees from neighboring countries and beyond, and at that point the child will most likely begin asking questions about why they had left to begin with. In class 3, the children will be taught about the history of their sector, and that will include perpetrators and victims of the genocide, those who were sentenced by Gacaca courts, genocide memorials, and more.
Teachers and students say that it is very important to better understand the history of Rwanda.
Lessons about the history of our country will help us to learn more about our ancestors.
This helped me as youth. I learned about what my country has been through, and now I know how to fight the ideology.
The curriculum exists and the teachers are qualified in this respect. All that is now required is to link what the child learns in school and the reality in their home in order to help him or her to become a person who is committed to such productive initiatives, understanding what they should support and reject.
The Commission for Foreign Relations, Cooperation and Security in the Rwandan Senate says that the talks it had with the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement have helped them plan a 2-week trip to verify that the principle of eradicating the ideology of genocide is being respected in primary and secondary school, universities, and vocational and technical schools. Jessica Agasaro, RTV News.
Thank you, Agasaro, for that report. Now, some young people and adults believe that the development and imitation of other cultures are the main reasons stated to be contributing to the poor use and distortion of the Kinyarwanda language. Adam Squizera has more.
That the use of Kinyarwanda language is slowing down among the youth wouldn't be wrong, since whenever it is used, you find it is distorted. Some young people know that the world's development is among of the reasons. Rwandan says that there are many reasons, but for me, I can see that it is caused from where the child is raised, plus the schools, which usually restricts the use of mother language. Meanwhile, some parents pointed out that all this are contributed by the admission of foreign cultures. In this world, children do what they want. As adults, when you see it, it hurts. Parents' job is to be very close to their children while they are young. The Minister of Youth and Culture, Rosemary Mbabazi, emphasized that Kinyarwanda language should be used by the youth for the respect of their mother tongue.
The message we should give to the youth is that, well, it's good to imitate some of the things from abroad, but they also have to preserve their mother tongue. If they don't preserve it, then nobody else will do it. In general, the message is that they should preserve their mother tongue as well.
Despite this, there are those who believe that some of the reasons why there is a limited use of Kinyarwanda language includes the parents and schools, which restricts their students from speaking Kinyarwanda language. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Kwizera, for that report. And now moving on to health matters. Some women who have experienced infertility due to fallopian tube blockage say that after receiving medical treatment, they have hope that of receiving children. Olive Nete has the report.
Say that they have been waiting to conceive for about 10 to 20 years. They say that according to the diagnosis by doctors, their fallopian tubes were obstructed. I got married in 2003, and at that time I was still young. And after that, I couldn't conceive and get children. Doctors examined me and told me that my fallopian tubes have been blocked, and that also one of my fallopian tubes was more swollen than the other. I got married in 2013. I waited to conceive like other women, but in vain. After that, the doctor told me that I have a problem, that my tubes were obstructed. I also thought that I had tumors, but luckily I don't have them. According to gynecologists, fallopian tubes serve as a channel for oocyte transport and fertilization. After receiving medical treatment, these women who have been waiting to conceive say that they have hope. Yesterday, I got operated on. Part of my fallopian tube was cleaned. I thought that my swollen tube would be removed, but they didn't do that. They kept giving me medicine and told me that I have a chance to get pregnant. The hope of getting pregnant is there because the problem I had was solved. Dr. Omesh Akaria, a consultant in reproductive medicine, reiterates on some of the causes that can lead to infertility.
The causes of infertility are standard around the world. There are male factor when the sperm's not very good, or ovulatory, when women don't produce an egg every month, or tubal disease, sometimes in which that women's tubes are damaged, or sometimes there are women and men in which we don't find a cause for a little while, and we just have to wait and time sorts itself out. Those are the major causes. There are a few other little causes which we should not worry about. So there can be problems with endometriosis or sexual dysfunction, but those are not major. The other ones are major.
According to Dr. Rekha Shrestha, a gynecologist, treatment always depends on the cause that led to infertility.
Best method of treatment, that depends upon the cause. What is the cause of the infertility? So, I mean, myomas are very, very common here. not all myomas need removing. Those which are affecting infertility will be inside in the womb, or they're very large ones, they need to be removed. So that's one. Dr. Acharya already mentioned about the damaged tubes. If they are blocked, that can be opened, but you need the setup, proper setup to do. Like the surgery is very, very delicate, and the tubal factor blocked tube, majority of the time we can open them. And we said about the myomas, which can be removed only if they are affecting fertility. Not all little myomas need to come out.
The head of Rwanda Legacy of Hope organization, Pastor Ozen Havuka, who was involved in bringing this team of medical doctors that are currently treating these patients, points out that since this program has started in 2012, it has yielded good results.
We have a testimony today. There are some ladies who had operation last year. Now they are pregnant. This is a good response for the work we have done. As I said, last year was here. There are some people who had a problem. They was not speaking for 17 years, other 5 years. After operation, now they are speaking, they are talking. When you see or you hear their testimonies, this encourages us to come back again.
So far, 17 mothers who had problems related to tube obstruction and abdominal tumors have been operated on at Nyarugenge Hospital since the beginning of this week. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Olive Nete, for that report. Now, Davis and Shirtleaf Limited demonstrate that treated and clean water to all is essential as the African continent demonstrates waterborne diseases are currently challenging. This corporation provides different services, namely supplying of water pumping and irrigation equipment, solar equipment, water treatment equipment, as explained by Anthony Wangodu, the International Business Director at Davis and Shirtleaf Limited.
Our key business is the distribution and installation of water pumping and energy equipment. One of the areas that we're really big at is renewable energy, so solar-powered water pumps. As an agricultural country, this is one of the ways we can ensure that the population has water not only for drinking, but also for irrigation. We have a lot of, as you can see behind me, we have a lot of equipment that is suitable not only for solar power, but also for irrigation and water supply.
Anthony Wangodu reiterates that water purification is essential as well as the waste water management, and that is why they distribute the specific equipment for these to be implemented.
Purification is important because, as you know, in Africa, one of the big problems we have is waterborne diseases. And luckily for Rwanda, water supply by government is pretty good. But when people store water, it needs to be purified. And water purification, water treatment is a big area that we are looking at. The other area is also wastewater management. As you know now, the law insists that any water that is disposed of must be treated. And we do a lot of wastewater treatment to meet government regulations and requirements. And that is equipment that we have. A bit of it is pumps, but also a lot of it is industrial chemicals.
Currently, Davis and Shirtleaf inaugurated its branch in Kigali City and the fourth across the country. This corporation is also present in 10 African countries, majorly East African countries. We would like to thank you very much for sticking with us on RTV News, and on behalf of the production team, we would like to wish you a safe night and to stay safe. Good night.